Joanna, thanks so much for making the time today to come to the show. So I noticed you recently took on the role of SVP Global Sales at, actually, how do I say it? Is it Sen AI? At CN.ai after being an advisor. So I'm really excited to dive into your journey and your perspective on AI and sales. It's such an important topic right now. So maybe we can start off with what drew you in to join Sen AI after, your extensive baking career.
Yes, thanks for the question. So I was really excited by the opportunity to be involved with a company that really is at the forefront of using it for sales transformation, particularly around data analytics, because every business has challenging data and you can't make good decisions out of that. You might even make poor decisions if you're making decisions on bad data. So I was drawn to that because in my banking career, I worked with companies all the time from middle market to large corporations, and they always struggled with that. Whether it was understanding the companies they were acquiring, what was actually going on in the company, to how to integrate them and how to grow their own business organically or inorganically from strategic acquisitions. So for me, seeing the CN platform when I joined as an advisor, it just seemed like a technology that really had space to continue to grow. And for me, I was really interested in being part of the innovation economy and being part of companies that were global and could solve a lot of problems. And so that's why I
Great.
joined.
And can you tell me about how has your career and experience so far in corporate banking? Has that influenced your approach to B2B sales and the kind of viewpoint you take first in AI?
Yes, because a lot of our client portfolio companies of large PE firms and also management consulting, and then B2B in general. So we work with any B2B business with at least 15 sales reps. And what I have found from my banking career is really the application of our tool, even though it's a sales performance data analytics tool. So what we do is we connect to CRM systems, and within 3 to 5 days, we've cleaned and enhanced the data and then analyzed it across multiple dimensions, how you're targeting a market to the individual sales rep performance and the behaviors they're making. And for me, from banking, it's also a really effective validation tool from a due diligence perspective when you're building a financial model and validating cash flow assumptions. And so I just think that even though it's a SaaS product that maybe you would primarily sell it to, it's also a tool that we're selling and talking to CFOs about. And I think in this age of using AI to improve data or to become more efficient, there might be areas where your tools or our tool and maybe the tools your listeners are selling that have cross-functional capabilities that can really help there be a single source of truth or improve collaboration between the departments. And I think that's what's exciting about AI
And
and
from
these technologies.
the CFO point of view, is it that you're trying to get a better, more accurate model of the sales and marketing engine and the behaviors that drive it? Is that why they would use it? Or
Yes, it might be the revenue. So when you're building financial model, you're really curious about the assumptions that go into what's driving revenue growth and the timing of that, the bringing in the revenue. So from our perspective, when we're analyzing sales from a data perspective, how quickly are you turning over those leads? Are you focused on the leads that have the highest propensity to convert? And that can have make a big difference on actually converting those sales and improve efficiencies and reduce costs around how you're marketing. So, for example, one of the insights we generated recently was this company was spending a lot of money on digital ads when they should have been focused on a product trial process. And that's a different marketing strategy. It's a different marketing budget. And they were actually able to save hundreds of thousands of dollars because they needed to shift their spend and focus in a different way. So from a CFO perspective, they're very interested in that, obviously, when you're analyzing budgets from different departments. And also, what is my revenue minus my costs? What is my EBITDA? And how can I use that to project how I'm going to pay down my debt to fund the business? So that's why a CFO would really care about tools like this that are driving efficiency, but
makes
also
a lot of
driving
sense.
revenue.
Yeah. And I just, as you mentioned, paid ads, I'm always thinking about how paid ads is such a game of managing cash flow. And you could see how clearly, if you have a great
Yes.
model, you could see that, oh, perhaps for our cash flow, a different channel is going to make sense for a certain period of growth.
But even I think what I like about AI is the ability to solve the question or answer the question, what would happen if? So what would happen if we focused on this particular industry? What do we have a higher propensity to close deals? What if we called if we're focusing on the right leads, is there a difference if you call them in a day versus 3 days? And that's the type of analytics we're producing, and I think that is what you can also use from a cash flow
Definitely
forecasting
makes sense. And of
perspective.
course, you should call them right away. Of course. And I'm wondering, when you're introducing a new powerful tool, it's often that the human at the other side of the tool is the hardest part to change. Are you finding that change management is a difficult part of product introduction or for your clients to get success? How are you handling the change management side of bringing in these new capabilities?
I think that's a great question. And one of the most important things when you're thinking about implementing AI is having that human in the loop. Of course, you need humans to maintain, monitor, and manage these types of systems or new technologies. And what I love about our tool in particular is it's not something you roll out to the sales team. It's really a analytics tool that leadership uses to understand what behaviors are working and then shift strategy as such. So, from a change management perspective, what we've introduced is a series of training modules where we're really training people to really understand the comprehensive nature of the dashboards we produce, where to find the answers they're looking for. And we also are working on agents that are in beta mode right now that would allow you to ask questions of the inquiries rather of the dashboards. And so you're really interacting with them. So, yes, there is an element of change management, but also it's helping them, as I mentioned before, just helping departments collaborate and use this tool in a cross department way to improve sales and marketing alignment, for example. This isn't just a tool for the CROC, it's a tool for the CMO and the CRO to work together and understand what leads are you generating and how am I doing a good job following up on those leads and having that feedback loop. So it's not a tool to replace people. I think it's a tool to allow people to think more strategically. So maybe that's the shift. I need to create more time in my calendar to think strategically about how to use this instead of trying to just solve for who's
Yeah.
bad or we've solved that. So let's focus on how we focus more strategically.
And as you're describing these multiple different potential buyers, you can see that it's obviously not just a tool to change behaviors of BDMs. You're looking at something that's going to be used by leadership for strategy. And how are you currently getting in front of those leaders that you think might benefit from SenAI? What's your current favorite marketing channel for GTM?
So we use a number of different approaches. Right now, we actually do a lot of in touch. So going to conferences, areas where we can present our demos, operating partner conferences for private equity, for example. From a management consulting perspective, it's our team, including myself. We've spent many years working with consultants from all different organizations. And so just helping them understand what our tool does, we've seen a significant adoption. So we've benefited from a referral network. But we are using a newsletter. We're using various ways to generate interest in what we're doing, partnering with people like you and the great work that you're doing to really educate people on the new technologies available to improve and use their data. So we are also evaluating different buyers. So who are the different buyers of our tool? It might be the IT department, the tech department that's working on improving that data issue. It might be the actual CMO or CRO leader. So we're evaluating right now how to maybe adjust our messaging.
I see. So right now, several different approaches for different buyers. And what do you see that the biggest challenges are right now for B2B companies that they're facing right now with their GTM data?
It's messy, it's complicated,
There's
it's
so many
duplicative,
tools. There's
and
also, just from a GTM
there's
person, there's a lot of tools.
there's a lot of things, but also part of the issue is not knowing the actual steps that a lead is taking from the inception all the way through what is the customer journey, and really understanding that and having a deep understanding of the activities you take on each step of that journey. So being able to analyze that and understand that helps you improve those behaviors. That's what CN does. But I think part of it is there's some great complementary tools out there like a Gong or a Clary or a Zoom Info, and that allows you to enhance data or develop pipeline and things of that nature. But again, you're coming back to it's duplicative, it's inconsistent. You might query your CRM to try and understand where are my best lead sources or how many countries am I operating in? And you simply can't understand that without months of work. So that's part of the problem, to really understand who you're going after and how. And luckily, we can resolve that in 3 to 5 business days. So that's pretty exciting to be able
Yeah,
to
that's
deliver
going to
that.
eliminate a lot of these one-off projects where you needed an analyst and
Yes.
some sweat and tears to clean up all the data from the 5 different sources to make sense of it.
So that's what our platform does, is we connect via APIs, so Salesforce to Dynamics to HubSpot, one-click integration. We're a licensed Salesforce partner. And then we can pull in data from your ERP, because I think part of the problem is often the whole complete picture of a customer journey is not included in the CRM. There's a lot of information in the ERP about renewals and discounting and things of that nature. So being able to collapse and collect all of that data in one place in order to analyze it, that's what we specialize in as well. So that's another problem that we've been able
Love
to
it.
solve.
Yeah. Connecting the ERP is another whole world. And so how about scaling your sales organization globally right now?
So we're looking at it on a channel basis, really based on which channels make the most sense to focus on. That's where we'll add talent. So right now we have people focused on each channel, and we'll continue to build our team to deliver the best service possible. I really like a bow tie approach coming from banking. What I did for 2 decades was both hunting and farming. And while that was really critical for the business of banking, when you had to understand the client's credit financial profile in order to do new transactions and add-on transactions, I think that's really critical for our business as well, is to be closely aligned with people that can help with the adoption of the tool, not just the initial sale. So when I think about growing the book or growing our business and adding team members, it is people that aren't just hunters. It's those unicorns that can be hunters and a little bit of a farmer, can really work closely with customer
Makes a lot of
success.
sense. Yeah, especially with such a large solution, you're going to need someone to get them over to the next, to really the first significant value. So I can see what you mean.
Our value is delivered in less than 5 days because we click in and deliver our dashboards in 5 days. So the issue isn't implementing or delivering the value, because that happens almost overnight. I think what we focus on, because we're working with enterprise clients that might have multiple Salesforce instances, which we can all do that at once, but we'll typically start in one place and show them how valuable the tool is, and then build out the solution throughout the business. Or in private equity, it might be starting with 1 or 2 portfolio companies, and then we're being implemented broadly across their portfolio. With management consultants, they're white labeling our tools. So we might start with one practice area that's taking us to clients, and then it might expand to another practice area. So it is not just selling the first time, it's also ensuring that adoption increases. So I don't need someone that is, again, just selling that first deal, that first subscription, and or not just a customer success person that's ensuring the adoption. I think it's really people that are identifying the problems that a company's having and aligning our tool with that. So that's
That
what I'm
makes
looking for
sense.
in
Yeah.
general.
And right now, have you noticed any specific patterns in what makes AI implementation successful versus failures? If you're thinking about some of your clients, and typically organizations are using many different AI tools at the same time, what are the patterns that you see in successful implementations?
Sure. There's just a really simple checklist in my mind. First, is it core to your business strategy? Is it something that really supports what what you need to do to deliver the best value to your clients externally? Or is it something that can improve you internally to be more efficient or work well together? So again, is it core to your business strategy? Is it you need someone, an AI owner, someone that will own the project and really report and develop feedback on how it's going? Pick a pilot, something small where you're implementing it in a small way with a limited scope, and make sure you're analyzing the risks to do that. Make sure you have a strong foundation from a tech perspective to support the tool, whether it's data warehouse or what kind of data you're going to be using. And then the ROI, establishing key KPIs for the ROI of the tool and what real benefits you're looking to achieve, and really having that constant feedback loop of what's happening with that tool. And then managing risk and having a governance policy around where you're going to use AI and where you will not. So you can manage how sensitive the data is you're incorporating with these tools, of course, and just having a strong framework for that is critical. But going back to it, you have to have a really strong business case and ensure it's core to your business strategy. And then the final thing I'd mention is, do you build it or buy it? And many of us don't have the capability. With ChatGPT, you can ask it to go do anything. But I think there are many tools out there that you can incorporate and buy, but there might be a scenario where it makes sense to build it, where you need a model that's trained and built on either data you're using or have access to. So I think there's a lot of different approaches. And of course, everyone is trying to figure out ways to incorporate it. But I'm always happy to be a resource for anyone thinking.
Excellent. This has been incredibly insightful, Joanna. Thanks so much. And before we wrap up, I'd love to hear what excites you the most about the future of AI in sales analytics.
Reducing friction in the process so we can serve our clients more efficiently. Of course, speeding up sales, helping people transform their businesses, especially what we're doing at CNAI, being able to build those models to transform behaviors in an efficient and easy way.
Great. Thank you.